Excited, Michael, for this week. You know, this is Christmas week for me. This is my birthday week. This is my favorite week of the year, the NFL draft, right? Jalen Hurts, 3 years ago today, was the 53rd overall pick in the 2020 draft. The fifth quarterback taken, again, curiously and controversially, by a team that thought it had its franchise quarterback in place. And this is really what I love about this week, because this is where championships or championship contenders are built. This week, this is where it starts, okay? And not only does no one seem to know what's going to happen this coming Thursday night, nobody knows what's going to happen, see Jalen Hurts, over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. As a matter of fact, nobody knows what's going to happen next year. Here's an awesome video that the NFL put out that got me even more hyped. Lets me further know that I'm right about the draft being the best sporting event, not just for the NFL, across the board. Nothing beats the draft. Here's why.
Purdy has no elite traits. Doesn't have a starter skill set.
Outside of his NFL frame, his traits are pretty average.
Touchdown, lasting in Isaiah Pacheco.
Average backup or special teamer.
He may never be a home run threat for a team.
Far from great, way below average.
Lacks fluidity.
Lacks top end speed.
Pro backup.
Lacks explosiveness.
Is underdeveloped.
May lack the speed and durability.
It doesn't matter when you're drafted. You can either prove them right, or you can prove them wrong. Every pick
Counts.
Ooh, yes, sir. So the intrigue, the mystery, Michael, it begins at 2. Bryce Young seems like more or less a lock to go at number 1.
I'm not sure.
Gone are the days.
I'm not sure about that. But go ahead. I'm still not even sure.
No, I'm not going to go ahead.
I don't believe any of it. And look, he's worthy of being the number 1 pick. Bryce Young, I'm a big fan of his. You know who I really like? My number 1 quarterback. He's all over the place. Some people say 1, 2. Some people say he slides to 7, 8, 9. Who knows? And C.J. Stroud. But I don't believe that the Carolina Panthers, with the number 1 pick, have leaked to so many people who they're going to draft at number 1 when they don't necessarily have to. I think there may be reasons that's coming out. They could just be telling the truth. Hey, we love Bryce Young so much, nobody in our organization can keep a secret. He's our number 1 guy. Or they may have designs on throwing people off. Maybe they want to trade. I don't know if they want to trade back.
It's not like
they want to trade with Houston.
Not like somebody could.
I don't know.
But it's not like somebody could leapfrog them. And if they wanted to put out word that they like Bryce Young, to me, the leverage play. The leverage play is we're open to trading. We're open to all the quarterbacks. Anybody, we like them all. So that way, if somebody does come up, you're comfortable with whoever you end up with. But allowing it to be known that Bryce Young is your guy, I don't know. I get the conspiracy theories. It's that time of year. But to what end?
It's
because
weird.
it's like, because is that going to entice somebody to say, well, what I was going to say is gone are the days when people will be negotiating contracts with the number 1 overall pick right now. You know, once upon a time, they would enter into contract negotiations so to make sure they could actually sign the number 1 pick before there was a rookie wage scale and everybody was slotted. So that part of the mystery is gone, but I believe it. I mean, there are enough people in that organization with enough friends in the media or enough people around the league to let it be known that Bryce is their guy, and why not? He's got everything other than height, and that height doesn't seem to have held him back throughout his entire playing career at every level. I know this is a different level, but again, they all come in through the same front door for the most part, unless you're bagging groceries and you turn out to be Kurt Warner. But, so, okay, it feels like, I get you're not sure, and that's fair, especially after 2 years ago. You know, it's not that long ago when it was with Trey Lance and Mac Jones, and 49ers had us all fooled thinking, even though we knew it should have been Trey Lance, or maybe not, but We knew that it was going to be Trey Lance because we fell in love with him. Everybody was saying Mac Jones. The rest is history. But what I was going to say is the mystery seems to start at the second pick. And not just is it C.J. Stroud or Will Levis for the Houston Texans, it's do they take a quarterback at all? And I would say, Michael, my biggest storyline for this week, and it's actually, if I may say so, I like my own storyline because it's a division that's oftentimes an afterthought. You know, when you look at the landscape of the league, it's probably, with all due respect, the least interesting division in pro football, and that's the AFC South. But the top of the draft is very much dominated by the AFC South. Houston at 2, Indy at 4, and you have the Titans, I beg your pardon, at 11, and then Houston again at 12. The Titans could trade up from 11. The Colts may need to slide up a pick or so, or maybe they just see whoever lands in their lap.
Texans got 2 top 12 picks.
The Texans with 2 top 12, and what do they do with it? And what I hope that the Texans don't do, because there's a lot of smoke around, and I don't know if it's a smoke screen, maybe there's fire, but there's a lot of smoke around them going defense and going Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson, because you got DeMeco Ryans looking for his next Nick Bosa. To which I would say, don't get cute. Houston, you have a problem. Don't create a problem.
Right.
Don't solve that problem, because what they could end up being, and no disrespect to Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson, I love what I've seen from Will Anderson. I love the scouting reports on Tyree Wilson. You could end up being the team that DeMeco Ryans just left, which, but for the quarterback position, would have a championship by now. Okay? Whether it's injury or whether it's performance or whatever. Or don't get so cute like Cleveland used to do. Because once upon a time, Cleveland was so busy trying to stockpile picks and take great players, and they couldn't decide which quarter. They passed on a list of great quarterbacks, including, ironically, Deshaun Watson, who is now in Cleveland by way of Houston. Point being, it's like, you got C.J. Stroud there, and I don't see Levis over Stroud, but if they do, okay, I guess. But you got Will Levis there. Hell, you got Anthony Richardson there. Don't fool around in a division where everybody is trying to get what Jacksonville has, which is Trevor Lawrence. Don't fool around and let Indianapolis address its quarterback problem. Don't fool around and let Tennessee jump up and get its heir apparent to Ryan Tannehill, while you sitting there saying, oh no, we don't love these guys, we're just gonna take the best defensive player. Yeah, that's great. And maybe you get Levis at 12, or maybe you get Hooker at 12. I like hitting Hooker, but it's like, I just don't want to see Houston get too cute while everybody gets down to the business of addressing the position that when you're up there, hell, Seattle's considering it. Detroit's considering it. When you're up there for one reason and one reason only 9 out of 10 times. That's because you don't have a quarterback. That's why you're up there to begin with. Most of the teams that are up there, you rarely find a team that's got their quarterback situation settled. Like a Jacksonville last year, aberration. You know, most of the time, you're up there because you ain't got a QB. So go get one, okay? When you have that opportunity. That's why Arizona's sitting so pretty. At least they think. They think they got a QB, or at least they got one that they're paying a shit ton of money to. So they're not trying to go and replace him right now. But it's like, if you up there, address that spot, Michael. I'm in franchise mode right now. I love Houston that. And the AFC South in general is my biggest storyline, at least on this Monday. Why were you looking at me like I was crazy just now, though? What'd I say?
Oh, no, I was just funny when you talk about, if not for the quarterback spot. It must be a Bay Area thing. We talk about this later. And now it's making sense. Don't let that Bay Area mentality infect you.
Y'all told me Jimmy Garoppolo was holding him back. That's what you told me. That's what you told me. And then Trey Lance was the second coming.
I didn't know,
everybody got hurt.
Mike, I didn't know it was an area known for such excuse making and such revisionist history. If this had happened, we had done that, y'all must know that we came up with that first.
They had Josh Johnson and 32 different teams he's played for. I mean, I'm sorry. They could, that could kind of help
I'm just gonna say this.
Eagles get to the Super Bowl. Just saying.
Let me just say this real fast. I'm gonna say it real fast. Going back to that video, that hype video from the NFL, that thing couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, that thing is, I'm saying, I said that wrong. That thing couldn't be more true.
Oh, okay.
That thing couldn't be more true. And okay. I want everybody at this time, and I know there are a lot of high school students trying to get into college, and they're getting some bad news. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. You didn't get into your first choice, your second choice. There's so many examples, and they could have done more of that from the Max Crosbys and Aaron Jones and even Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. There's so many examples of people, and I'll tell you about it one day this week, because I've been in like 3 or 4 draft rooms, thank God. Had the privilege of being there, and I've heard them identify people who weren't supposed to be great. They turned out to be great. I've heard them say this guy's going to be amazing, and it was the opposite. So look, you out there, take that to heart. This is a subjective exercise. Be inspired. Keep doing your thing.
There is no right or wrong. There's only opinion. So we talked about the Panthers at number 1, and you talked about you not believing the Panthers at number 1 and that they know what they're going to do, or at least they let it be known that they know what they're going to do. Here's Scott Fitterer and Chris Ballard speaking to just that point.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.